Wych elms that counterchange the floor of this flat lawn with dusk and bright, and thou with all thy breadth and height of foliage, towering sycamore. How often, hither wandering down, my Arthur found your shadows fair, and shook to all the liberal air the dust and din and steam of town. He brought an eye for all he saw, he mixed in all our simple sports. They pleased him, fresh from brawling courts and dusty purlieus of the law. Of joy to him in this retreat, immantled in ambrosial dark, to drink the cooler air and mark the landscape winking through the heat. Of sounds to rout the brood of cares, the sweep of scythe in morning dew, the gust that round the garden flew, and tumbled half the mellowing pears. O bliss, when all in circle drawn about him, heart and ear were fed to hear him, as he lay and read the Tuscan poets on the lawn. Or in the all-golden afternoon, a guest or happy sister sung, or here she brought the harp and flung a ballad to the brightening moon. Nor less it pleased in livelier moods beyond the bounding hill to stray, and break the livelong summer day with banquet in the distant woods, whereat we glanced from theme to theme, discussed the books to love or hate, or touched the changes of the state, or threaded some Socratic dream. But if I praised the busy town, he loved to rail against it still, for ground in yonder social mill we rub each other's angles down, and merge, he said, in form and gloss the picturesque of man and man. We talked. The stream beneath us ran, the wine flask lying couched in moss, or cooled within the glooming wave, and last returning from afar, before the crimson-circled star had fallen into her father's grave, and brushing ankle-deep in flowers, we heard behind the woodbine veil the milk that bubbled in the pail, and buzzings of the honeyed hours. He tasted love with half his mind, nor ever drank the inviolate spring, where nighest heaven, who first could fling this bitter seed among mankind, that could the dead, whose dying eyes were closed with wail, resume their life, they would but find in child and wife an iron welcome when they rise. 'Twas well, indeed, when warm with wine, to pledge them with a kindly tear, to talk them o'er, to wish them here, to count their memories half divine. But if they came who passed away, behold their brides in other hands. The hard air strides about their lands, and will not yield them for a day. Yea, though their sons were none of these, nor less the yet loved sire would make confusion worse than death, and shake the pillars of domestic peace. Ah, dear, but come thou back to me. Whatever change the years have wrought, I find not yet one lonely thought that cries against my wish for thee. When rosy plumelets tuft the larch, and rarely pipes the mounted thrush, or underneath the barren bush flits by the sea-blue bird of March, come wear the form by which I know thy spirit in time among thy peers, the hope of unaccomplished years be large and lucid round thy brow, when summer's hourly mellowing change may breathe, with many roses sweet, upon the thousand waves of wheat that ripple round the lonely grange. Come, not in watches of the night, but where the sunbeam broodeth warm. Come, beauteous in thine after form, and like a finer light in light. if any vision should reveal thy likeness, I might count it vain, as but the canker of the brain. Yea, though it spake and made appeal to chances where our lots were cast together in the days behind, I might but say, I hear a wind of memory murmuring the past. Yea, though it spake and bared to view a fact within the coming year, and though the months revolving near should prove the phantom warning true, they might not seem thy prophecies, but spiritual presentiments, and such refraction of events as often rises ere they rise. I shall not see thee. Dare I say, no spirit ever break the band that stays him from the native land, where first he walked when clasped in clay. No visual shade of someone lost, but he, the spirit himself, may come, where all the nerve of sense is numb, spirit to spirit, ghost to ghost. O therefore from thy sightless range, with gods in unconjectured bliss, O from the distance of the abyss, of tenfold complicated change, descend and touch and enter. Here the wish too strong for words to name, that in this blindness of the frame my ghost may feel that thine is near. How pure at heart and sound in head, with what divine affections bold, should be the man whose thought would hold an hour's communion with the dead. In vain shalt thou or any call the spirits from their golden day, except like them thou too canst say, my spirit is at peace with all. They haunt the silence of the breast, imaginations calm and fair, the memory like a cloudless air, the conscience as a sea at rest. But when the heart is full of din, and doubt beside the portal waits, they can but listen at the gates, and hear the household jar within.